In this video, we're going to look at a bit of retro tech that helps with large dice rolls. Hello and welcome to the Battle in Barrow. Yes, in this video we're going to look at a bit of tech, because who doesn't like a bit of tech, that will help at your gaming table with dice rolls. Yes, I know there are apps available you can use on your phone, but I don't know, something that's just like a calculator in front of you. Perhaps this is the old school in me. So a calculator just in front of you, you can tap away at some buttons, is less intrusive than whipping out your phone, loading up the dice app, pushing things. You may then get a message on your phone. It leads to a whole manner of things, but a dedicated system to help with dice rolls seems much better to me. Full disclosure, I was contacted by the company who makes this product called Critical Machine, and they asked me would they send me over the product for me to have a look at and do a video on. Not necessarily didn't even have to do a video on, just to have a look at, and I decided to do a video on it afterwards. At first I was a bit hesitant because there are, as I said, you've got apps that can do it for you, you've got other things that could do it for something similar, so why would you need this product? And so at first I didn't answer straight away. I took a bit of time to think about it. What would this be necessary? And yes, that's what I come up with, is whilst there are apps, it can lead to bad habits at gaming tables. Something that's just dedicated, sitting there, that all it's there for is to roll dice. That made more sense to me, and plus when I looked at the product in pictures, it looked like a bit of retro tech. Now, what do I mean by retro tech? That means something that was, say, the film Alien to me is very retro tech, even at the time it was released. It's meant to be set in the far-flung future, but it's a big 80s style, late 70s, early 80s style computers that are being used. And that's what this reminds me of, and someone who grew up back then, this really appeals to me. So let's have a look at the box first of all. So this is the package I received. My cat likes it, so we're going to have to carefully open it so he doesn't get in the way of the knife. And let's have a look what's inside. I apologise for my hands. I was painting when I received this and I was terribly excited. I was also using a very blunt knife to cut through the sellotape. Inside, as you can see, it's well packaged in that sort of how Amazon does things with this screwed up paper, which is great because it's recyclable. And there was a box within a box, Boxception. This is the actual product box itself. It's from Critical Machine, as you can see here. It's a USB gaming keypad. I will be posting the details of the website in the description. I'm showing you all this because it's a product review and I'm going to review the whole process right from the packaging onwards. So, and inside, yep, my cat wants to have a read of the business card first, but once you get a business card. And the reason I'm showing you is because it's packed. The packaging is checked by a human, so that's nice. That's what that's showing. Comes in this foam surrounds, which help with the packaging to protect it. It also comes with a USB lead for power, and it's really well packaged. So yeah, let's move over to my desktop rather than my cutting mat to have a look at it. Remove these, and already I hope you can hear that. That is a lovely click sound, so get right into it. So first thing you're going to notice is just how retro this is. This is retro tech, and I love a bit of retro tech. Just lovely switches, keys. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. Obviously we have switches T1, T2 and T3. Advantage, disadvantage switch, clear results. Let's get this bad boy plugged in. There we go. It does come with a lovely USB-C wire. I am using this one just because it's a long lead that I use to for my area where I sit, so it's long enough to reach from where the plug socket is to where I normally do things. Let's push a button, see what happens. Detail. Okay, so it's got a... Okay, I'm just playing around here. So if we clear it, let's just do D12, D2 even, that's clear. Let's do D100. Okay, I don't know what to... Oh, okay, I think I know what I'm doing. I'm playing around with it. D4, so I've got 2, 2, before? Yes, okay, so let's do D12, 5, and D20. 17's got 5, 17. What do you reckon we're going to see down here? Average of 17, I like that. That's interesting. Okay, and just keep it simple for a moment. Disadvantage with D20. I like that. Advantage D, so disadvantage. So what I think I'm going to have to do is have a real good play around with this. As I said, it's just that was just me pushing buttons. So if I could do, wow. But I'm really loving the way the buttons work. So what I'll do is I'll play around, get my head around how it all works, and then come back and show you properly. But on the first impression, just how it feels. It seems to be clear. It seems to clear out the last one. I think if you, it's really nice. The construction of it. This is solid plastic. This isn't flimsy plastic. This is a chunky bit of plastic. It feels robust. Strap here, is that to put it onto your belt? And this switch here is just lovely. There's no like, I referred to it earlier on as retro tech. This is what comes on when now from films like Alien. So 1979, it was set in the future, so the tech in that is meant to be futuristic, but to us now it looks retro. That's what I mean by this. It's kind of futuristic but retro. These keys are super lovely keys. Yeah, okay. What I do, I will come back when I know how to actually properly use it. Okay, so I have RTFM'd this, read the flipping manual, and so now I know what it means. So this number here is your dice roll that you've just rolled. S, and it's pretty self-explanatory as I'm going through this. This S here, this is the sum, so this is the total. This M here, when there's numbers here, this is the modifier, and this is the number of dice rolled. So any modifiers, so we can add those in. Okay, so let's do a test. Let's just roll a standard dice that you can use in any board game, most likely the D6. So let's roll that. Okay, so my roll added 2 to the total, which was 0. So our total is now 2. We have 1 dice rolled. Now to keep this simple, I'm going to roll another D6. Perhaps I get to roll again in the board game. So my dice now is 2. I've rolled 2 dice. this roll gave me was a 6 top mark. So in total, I have rolled an 8. The clear button actually has 2 functions. So perhaps that roll, I think I've rolled it and then the guy who's in charge of the game's gone, oh no, 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 you shouldn't have rolled that dice, I made a mistake. I can hit clear just once and it takes us back to our first roll. Hit clear again, it goes back. So if I do 3 rolls, it just rolls back. It's an undo, effectively. If I've been doing loads of rolls and, you know, I've rolled 29 dice, I don't want to tap this 29 times. What I can do is I can sort of hold it in for a few seconds, 1, 2, and it clears out totally. So we're starting again. Okay, if we're playing D&D, I'm rolling damage, but perhaps I'm doing a dagger, D4. But it's a magical dagger, +1. Fine. So remember those modifiers I told you about earlier on? So if I clear this out and do it again. So boom. 1. So that's what that means. I've got a 1. So it's +1. So my roll was... Hang on. Let's start again. So do I do the totals first? Hang on. Okay, so what about modifiers? Well, that's where these come in. These up and down arrows. That adds a modifier and that subtracts one. Press it multiple times, you get to add and subtract multiple times. Okay, so let's say we've got a dagger. So I've rolled. That result was 2. So in total, I've got a 2, but it's a +1 dagger. So I can hit that. So with that, my roll this time just gets a modifier as +1. But in total, I've rolled 3, but I've still only rolled 1 dice to get that 3, and that's telling me that that roll has a modifier of 1. Okay, what about advantage and disadvantage? Well, that means exactly what it says on the tin. If I push it once, that's going to give me advantage. If I push it twice, that's going to give me disadvantage. And if I push it 3 times, it resets. So let's go for advantage. I've got advantage. I'm going to roll a d20. That means the next dice roll I roll when the A's there is going to give me the highest. So you can see here that I've rolled 1 dice. I was at 0 sum. I've added 11, so my total is 11. Now, handily, it tells me here what the results were of both dice. I rolled an 11 and a 3. So if my DC was 10, I may have passed, but with disadvantage, I would have failed. Likewise, disadvantage. Roll a d20. Oh, you know, that would have been great for the advantage, wouldn't it? Okay, so what have I got? I've rolled 1 dice. I was at 0. My roll was 4, so my total is 4. The dice I actually rolled, I rolled a 19. That would have been handy, and a 4. Okay, but what about this thing here? This is so you can do, well, you can do multiple. Let's say you had 2 weapons. I had a weapon that does, I have 2 attacks. Say I have 1 attack that does d6 and 1 attack that does d8. Sure, I can do it that way. Give me a total of 12, 2 dice rolled. But what if these do different damage types? Perhaps the d6 is just not ordinary slashing damage, but perhaps d8 does, I don't know, necrotic damage, and that could be important depending on targets. So what I can do is, for my d6, I can go to T1, boom. So I got a 4 for that. So now we go to 2, it resets it. So now I roll my necrotic damage, and I got 6. And it keeps them, so I got 4 there, and 6 here. Cool, so that means I can track my damage. But what if I need to know the total of them? Well, self-explanatory. Hit the total, and on average between the dice, I got an 11.4. Because that's the sum total of 8 and 6. Okay, so you keep them, and you can do, likewise, you can do that as usual to one of the dice. Same here. And so if I did that, obviously, let's say my necrotic was 8 plus 2. That gets reflected here, so my sum total is now 12, not 10. You cannot add the total, so you can't just do whatever the total is, add and that. It always has to be done to the roll, which makes sense. And do you know what? That is pretty much it. It's so simple, so elegant. So what do I think of this? I think this is a marvellous high quality product. The casing is solid, you know, that is not flimsy plastic. Solid, lovely plastic case. The buttons, oof, are lovely. Just listen to that. I could click buttons, these buttons, all day. I like sort of old school buttons. This looks like it could be in a spaceship from 1970s and 1980s. I'm absolutely loving this. It is simple to use, elegant. It's not going to take a lot to get used to, and in fact, just the other day, so you might be asking, do you really need this? You have dice. Now, just the other day, I was playing a game where I was talking to one of my players who's also loves a bit of tech before the game about this product, and what I'll discuss now, pros and cons here. That's what we were discussing there. And at the end of the game, which I'll add in a clip here, it got to a point where I was working out the cash amount for their next Thieves Guild job, and it was a fairly hefty amount, and my brain by that time, as the end of the session, had just melted out of my ears, and I just couldn't do math. And if I was sort of mention it in the clip that if I had this is where I need this, this is where this really comes into its own. It would have come into its own. So yeah, I'm going to add that in now. That was 1.6.
I was thinking that's a bit light purse for a demand on a time frame.
Everyone remember 6. Actually, ironically, this is where I need that dice roll that I got sent.
Yeah, I was actually starting to think maybe you should use that.
If anyone's interested in watching full playthroughs of our D&D session, they are on Patreon. So yes, this has already would have come in handy in one of my games already. So on that one, it's getting a thumbs up. Aesthetics of it gets a thumbs up. Ease of use gets a thumbs up. Quality, thumbs up. Okay, so it's all very positive, but let's talk about some negatives, because you know nothing is perfect. One, the price. Okay, it's at £65. It is pricey, but this hobby in general is pricey, and items like this are a luxury, and if you're about my age, it's going to appeal to you for its aesthetics. You know, your 40s, your mid-40s, and by that time you've probably got more of a disposable income than what you had as a kid, and so why not treat yourself to it? It's lovely. So yeah, pricey, but let's face it, the hobby in general is pricey. It's still probably less than one figure of Games Workshop, so ho hum. And the other thing is the power. I understand why it has external power, otherwise it would increase the size to have a power brick in here, but that is a negative. You'd need to get power to your table, and I already have a lot of stuff in front of me as a DM. Do I want more wires coming in? I am thinking maybe of getting a USB hub, because I have a WLED light in front of me. It's USB powered. I have various other things, so maybe I can look into a USB hub that this can be plugged into, neat and tidy. So 2 negatives, but one of them, the power, could be resolvable. I mean, you can. What about I wonder if you can power this from a phone charger power bank with a little USB kind of label in. That might be something I might look into as well. But yeah, so just the power aspect, but I reckon I can work something out for that. So I might begin to have this in front of me, just be on my screen. Will I use it all the time? Will this replace dice? No, because I actually love dice. I'm a big fan of dice, so it won't. But will it come in handy? Yes, it will. It will totally come in handy. When you're getting that hard to do, especially as you get in higher levels, monsters doing big old damages. Sure, the monster manual has the sort of average, if you like, but sometimes it's nice to roll. You know, I don't want to keep going, this monster hits you for X, this monster hits you for X. I want that variant in there, and that's where this comes in handy. So if my monster does, I know, 5d12 plus, 5d12 plus 2, I've got it there, 37. And next time I can come in and go, it does 5d12 plus 2, this time it does 32. So I love that aspect of it. It's going to make that part of the game way simpler, and any role-playing game way simpler. So yes, I do actually recommend this. I should point out, hopefully I pointed out already, this is not sponsored. Nothing I ever do is sponsored. I was sending this for free though. If I was, and that's where it comes in, this goes back to the price. If I had to pay for this and to do the review, I may not have done it at the moment. This would have been a birthday present. That's, for me, this is what this would have been. My wife would have asked me, what do you want for birthday? What do you want for Christmas? I normally can never think of anything. I would have asked for this. This is a perfect gift for that middle-aged group couple that has more of a disposable income. So yeah, I'm really enthusiastic about this. I have to admit, when I first started this video, I didn't think I would be. When I first started talking about this and getting it, I actually didn't think I would be. I thought it would be more of a negative video, but since having it in my hands and playing around with it, and just, I dream of that noise. Yeah, it is super. Yeah, love it. So only real two negatives, major positives. Let me know what you think about this concept. Have you got one of these? Are you planning to get one? Let me know. If you do get one, let me come back and put something in the comments about how you feel about it. Is this your kind of thing? Yeah, let me know. Anyway, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and all that good stuff. And if you haven't subscribed, please have a subscribe. And if you haven't liked, please like. If you haven't left a comment, leave a comment. That's it though. Until the next video, guys, stay safe, take care, bye.